Welcome to Lynn's Warriors. Today we are honored to welcome back Chris McKenna, founder of Protect Young Eyes, one of the nation's leading voices on digital safety, parenting, and raising healthy children in a world dominated by screens, algorithms, and social media. Chris has spent years helping parents understand the apps, devices, and technologies shaping childhood today. His mission, very simple, and that is to equip families, everybody, with practical tools so children can thrive online and offline. And this week, just released, hot off the presses, and just in time for Father's Day, Chris has written a wonderful new book, which, Chris, I'm going to admit I just ordered, so I don't have it in my hands yet. But it's called, everybody, 5 Habits of the Tech Ready Family, Raising Wise Kids in a Wild Digital World. There you go. Practical ideas that
That's right.
prepare and protect kids. Practical, everybody. Common sense, practical, that prepare and protect kids in the AI, artificial intelligence age. It encourages, I'm going to throw in dads because it's Father's Day weekend,
That's
families,
right.
um,
Yeah.
everybody. It's very intentional to be present and courageous in this digital age. The website is protectyoungeyes.com. We'll have everything listed in the body of the video. The book is available usual suspects, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, independent bookstores. You can go in. If they don't have it, you can order
Yeah.
it. We will not
Yeah.
let anybody, Chris, escape without buying this book. So let's get to it. And Chris, welcome back to the Warriors.
Thank you, Lynn. Always a pleasure to talk. And I know this is great that we're talking, but I think we're actually going to be able to see each other also very soon next week, which is
So
excellent.
shocking.
So
Shock,
I know,
shock.
I know.
Yes, actually, next week. Let me just mention that, Chris, because I have been
Sure, it's
telling
good.
everybody about it. Tuesday, June 23rd, is Social Media Victims Remembrance Day on Capitol Hill.
Right.
There is going to be a very nice memorial. That sounds kind of strange, Chris, right? Because we're talking about something we should never have to even do, right? Is get together with survivor families, parents and family members. Their
That's
children have
right.
been harmed. You know, uh, I'm going to just say it, Chris, dead, right? From social media harm, sextortion,
That's
cyberbullying,
right.
eating disorders, trafficking, you name it, social media harms. And these courageous parents gather. They use their voices. They speak for those parents and family members who cannot speak about this horrendous escalation of this crime happening in our country. And we gather and we support them. And we will be having this vigil on Capitol Hill. We'll also be having a press conference. The vigil is at 4 p.m., press conference at 5. I believe, Chris, the night before Monday, the 22nd, is some sort of projection of lights.
That's right.
So
That's what
I'm
I've
gonna,
heard too. Yeah.
I'm actually, if you don't mind, Chris, I'm gonna put the link to that in the body of this video as well,
Yeah,
because I
for
really
sure.
want, if you're in the Washington area, to really support us or travel if you're so inclined and you want to be a big warrior. We would love that. But also, if you can't do any of that, Chris, you know what? I want everybody to share that link on their platforms. Let us leverage the internet for good and let them share the event on their X account or their Facebook or their Instagram and help us get the word out, because these parents deserve this attention and our lawmakers need to hear from all of us. We all need to be warriors. So thanks, Chris,
Absolutely.
for mentioning that. Is a most important thing, because I don't think you can do
Yes.
your
Yep.
job, or my job, without these parents that guide us and help us. Chris, I would be remiss. I just want to mention that you are a nationally recognized speaker, educator. You're an advocate. You work directly with schools, churches, communities to empower. Again, I want to really make everybody understand this. Families with these practical strategies for navigating social media, gaming. We don't talk enough about gaming. Well, maybe you do, Chris.
That's right.
In my circle, we got to talk more about gaming, and young,
Yeah.
and smartphones and emerging technologies. And your message, Chris, I'm going to say this for you. Just chime in here. Is not about fear, but one of great hope. That parents matter, relationships matter, and informed families. I've learned all this from you from the beginning when I started my Warriors work. The importance of families being resilient together, these digital family partnerships. So, Chris, now I'm going to let you talk, okay? But I want to start with, because it is Father's Day weekend. You're a dad.
Yep. Yep.
Tell us, Chris, what does it mean today to be a dad? Your thoughts on this and the importance of the role of dad in the family.
Definitely. Yeah. So hello to everybody. Hopefully we've had a chance through Lynn's amazing work, through conversations we've had. But if you haven't met in some way, even digitally, I am a dad. first, Andrea and I have now just over 26 years together, have 4 children. Right now, 21, 16, 16, and 14. So next year I'm going to have 3 high school sons. So
Yikes.
A lot going on there. Yeah. And we desperately need more dads owning. I kind of joke all the time, Lynn, that if I look at the demographics, the data behind who follows us on social media and Instagram and Meta, they give you some of that just based on profiles. And it's about 94% female and ages 30 to 55. So these are what I call the chief technology officer moms, the CTO moms, who are often in charge of the daily blocking and tackling when it comes to technology. And we're an organization that doesn't bubble wrap. We're not no tech. It's slow, right kid, right tech at the right time. We want to recognize that technology has certain helpful roles, but that it's not designed to be helpful. So we have to craft it in that way. But we need dads jumping into this. And not only dads jumping into this, Lynn, but dads not contributing to the problems. And I can be really just lovingly direct for a minute, because dads struggle with our phones. We struggle with some addictions online. We struggle with gaming and needing that break after a long day. But gosh, we need to model the right behaviors we want to see in our kids. That's why habit number 1 in the book is model the right behaviors, because we need to be leading the way in this and not jumping out of bed and checking email, not checking email right before we go to bed or checking the scores. We need to do the things with our own tech that we want our children to do with their technology, because otherwise, think of that messaging, right? As a father, I'm asking my children to exert a daily level of self-control that I don't have. And not only that, when they misstep with their technology, I get mad when they do. That's kind of, step back for a minute. That's a little bit insane when you think about what we ask and what they're up against. Our children are up against the world's most brilliant software engineers, MIT, Stanford trained, technologists, PhD scientists, neurologists. They understand our amazing children. And so as defenders, just to play some roles that dads are supposed to play in protecting and providing. And these are not only traditional roles that we've had in the analog world, but why haven't we translated those one-to-one into the digital world? All those harms are right there in their pocket, and we're often the ones that are just sort of saying, hey, we'll figure it out, or mom's got that. No, we need to be jumping into that. And so dads, own this. And we have tools to help you. You don't have to do this alone. You can do this. And so, on this Father's Day, let's embrace those digital responsibilities in the same way that I know many of us do in the analog world.
Yeah, that's a great message, Chris. I really think more parents are stepping up. They are becoming more aware, more educated. But that being said, we still have to, continue that. We still have to push on those who learn to then push their family members and friends and communities to also embrace this and get involved. I truly believe it can be done. Again, everybody, it'll be in the body of the video, protectyoungeyes.com. Free resources, easy lifting, right, everybody, because everybody wants easy lifting. We know you're overwhelmed. This is the place to go. Chris, your book right now, a great time, because we're right at the beginning of summer. A lot of kids are just out of school or getting out of school here in New York City next week. For people to get the book, great gift, everybody, for dads. And tell us, good reaction so far to the book. Why did you write it right now at this period of time?
Yeah, great question. I've done most things in my life backwards. I guess I'm slow for whatever reason.
You're so not slow, Chris. You're so not slow.
The way that it typically goes is you write a book and then you create a platform from that, because, people are asking. Protect Young Eyes was this extremely unexpected journey about 10, almost 11 years ago, where people I was a youth pastor at the time. In fact, I'm officiating a wedding tomorrow for a girl I had I was her middle school youth pastor, and now I'm doing her wedding tomorrow, which is an awesome full circle moment. But that's why I created Protect Young Eyes, was to equip families with this new technology that was very positive, optimistic. The marketing was, this is going to be amazing. And yet I, as a young adult, had struggled with compulsive use of pornography, saw what that monster did, and then I watched us put that in pockets of kids, and it terrified me. And so that's really what this came from. And so backwards, platform, website, speaking, now it's time to take that. And that's the practical side of this, mean, the book isn't just a bunch of pontificating or here's all the right answers. It's here are stories from the trenches. Lynn, we went through 5 years of direct messages. You should see the spreadsheet that I have of all these direct messages of people over the years who have come to us with their questions and their problems, both proactive and also in triage in the middle of a crisis, extortion problems. These are the stories that are in the book to show us what actually took place, what was the actual outcome, what were the actual phrases that were used, to what worked and what didn't. I had to go back to all of these people and ask their permission, right, to put these in the book, because these are real, raw family stories that sort of act as a foundation for these habits. We've pressure tested these 5 habits over the past 10 years with families in our presentations. And this is what families have said have worked in these like threads, some of them just mountains of threads with a family working through a crisis and giving them counsel and help along the way. So it's taking everything that I've learned over these past 11 years and more conversations that I can count online and offline, and saying, here's the best of what I believe can help right now. It's always evolving and changing. A book is one of these things you kind of put out, especially with technology, and the next week there's always something new. But I wrote it at a principles level. These are 5 habits that, whether we're talking about gaming, pornography, social media, AI, companions, or what we haven't thought of yet, these are principles and habits that I am confident, if applied persistently and consistently, will mitigate risk for the things that are present today and that we don't know about yet. So that's why I wrote it the way that I did, and what we did, or what my team around me did to kind of pull this together over the last 18 months.
Well, Chris, thank you for doing this. I don't even know how you would go through. I see the reaction, you get online and around the country, you and the team are always speaking, right? There's so much. I can only imagine what people write to you on a constant basis, or seeking knowledge or seeking direction. That is absolutely incredible. Do you want to go through any of the steps? Obviously, we want everybody to buy the book, and they need to have it in their home like a Bible, if you don't mind me saying that. Have it as a handy tool, because I don't know about you, Chris, but I read books a couple of times because I always pick up something new. I usually actually read a book like 3 times, a little excessive maybe,
Oh, really?
but
Okay.
because I always, especially if it's about anything about technology, because I always pick up something new the next time I read it, or something I never thought about. But if you want to share some of the steps with us.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, the 5 habits, just to lay them all out, and you could find this right in the Amazon listing. I mean, I want parents to know what they're getting. Number 1, model the right behaviors. I hinted at that already when we were talking about dads, right? It starts with us. Well, we want them to use their technology just like we do, where we use it, how we use it, what we use it for. Number 2 is to pursue authentic connection in a very connected, disconnected relationally world. Are we pursuing authentic connection with our children, talking persistently and consistently about everything, right? And there's a scriptural foundation to many of these, right? Number 2, the second habit there is, I want us to be the divine algorithm. I think back to God's instructions to the Hebrews in Deuteronomy: when you walk, when you talk, when you lie down, when you get up, wrap it, do it, door frames, everything. I believe we had been given divine instructions to be algorithmic in the lives of our children, to overcome the messages of the world. And so that's what I want these conversations, these relational, daily, persistent, consistent drips of relational intentionality. So that's habit number 2, to pursue authentic connection. Then encourage work and play. We need children to feel the significance of a job well done, and that's through chores and work, a part of a family, but also outside in the physical world. We're made physically, we thrive physically. Number 4 is then to delay addictive, not all, but addictive technologies. And this is where our hashtag delay is the way comes in, which is a slow tech strategy, not a no tech strategy. But to understand why we delay certain addictive technologies, Lynn, we have to understand brain and childhood development. It's a very big part of habit number 4. So that's delay addictive technologies. And then number 5 is to diligently prevent harm. And this is where we get into the practical hardware, software, 5 layers of protection. So you can tell I'm a CPA spreadsheet framework kind of guy. You got 5 habits. that we implement in our home persistently, consistently, how we parent, how we behave. But then practically when we get to that fifth habit, we have 5 layers that we're wrapping, whether it's the location or the router or the device or the apps. These are the layers of protection. And we have all kinds of practical hardware and software recommendations that are in the book, the things that you are gracefully sharing, all the time, which I appreciate for us, with our app reviews, device reviews. And so that's the order. And Lynn, it's very intentional. You can see it starts relationally and ends technically. That's an important foundation to build first, because there aren't enough hardware and software toggles to replace intentional parents. Yes. We have to be that foundation. And so that's why the habits are ordered the way that they are. So those are the 5.
Ooh, I want to say something, Chris. I think you're with me on this one. We are pro-technology, pro-innovation. We're not against any of this. We just want it to be safe. And I guess that word you use, like intentional, right? There is a lot of, I guess good tech. I'm going to say we live in a digital world, so it's not going away. So we must learn to deal with it. I'm kind of bottom lining it here for everybody, and take these steps that you're brilliantly pointing out to keep kids safe and families connected as well.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Chris, what I hear on a daily basis. They say, "Oh, why should I bother? We're losing the battle against technology." I'm sure you must have heard this or hear it. What's your answer to them when you hear something like this?
Well, we're only losing the battle when we choose not to fight it. It's worth fighting for our children.
Yes.
And I say this in as much love, but direct and candor as possible. It is harder to parent in the digital age, but if you're going to choose to have a child in 2026, this is part of the gig.
Yeah.
If you want to mitigate the risk of digital harm, this is part of the gig. If you don't, then don't. And this is going to sound maybe mean, but I've all but stopped trying to convince parents to care about this. If you right now in 2026, don't believe that we have enough evidence, a preponderance of the evidence, that there's a risk of harm by throwing children inside of technology without monitoring, without hardware, without software, without conversations, then I can't help you. I literally can't. I can only say so much. But I look at the evidence. I'm a CPA. I'm an evidence guy. I weigh this all the time. That's how I was trained for over a decade at Ernst & Young, is to weigh risk, put in detection and prevention controls that mitigate that risk, realize we can't get rid of all of it, but we can manage it. And that's the point. I can't predict or prevent all harm, but I can mitigate the probability of harm by doing certain things persistently and consistently. That's the evidence in the book. That's the 5 habits. So for those who say no, then you're listening to the wrong voices, you're using the wrong resources, you've got the wrong people on your team, because there's enough of a tribe who believe that the opposite of that is true, that once you find us, we'll support you. We got you. This is possible.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to parent up, which I've been talking a lot about. As you pointed out, we buy the devices, most parents, grandparents, we have a duty then to put safety measures, talk to our kids, do everything in our power to keep them safe. So I've been doing a lot of that. I used to kind of stay away from the parent thing, Chris, but no way anymore. I mean, I think I learned from you, like all this evidence and things like that. No, you buy the device, you have a responsibility. You have to parent up in 2026 going forward. Let me ask you something. Parents sometimes, because they'll say to me, "Oh, I didn't mean it. I made a mistake. I didn't know." What are some of the things parents might be doing they don't mean to do surrounding devices or talking to their kids?
Well, we forget that no matter what the digital space is, that there's 3 letters in front of every single website, app, digital encounter, and it's www. World Wide Web. We forget that. And instead, I think we, rightfully so, we hyper-focus on pornography. We hyper-focus on TikTok. They're the ones that get all the news, or Roblox. They've earned the press they've gotten. But we've taken our eye off of, let's say, YouTube. I believe that YouTube may be one of the most significant eroders of childhood innocence on earth. And that's a pretty big statement when you think about Roblox and Meta and Snapchat and all the others. YouTube is totally underestimated by parents in terms of its just persistent backslide kind of gray. Is it pornographic? Is it straight up like Pornhub pornographic? No.
Yeah.
Is it picking kids off of the street, trafficking, kidnapping? No. But if you spend hours every day inside of YouTube, you are dripped a message over and over again that is too much too soon for a young brain, that is way too mature. And so I think we hyper focus on a few things like pornography, but we forget violence. That you could ask a room of 8th graders, especially 8th grade boys, because the algorithm profiles and sends certain content to boys versus girls. They know this. And talk to them about violence. Talk to them about how many of you have seen somebody actually killed in a video online. And way too many hands go up. So I think, have lost just sight of the fact that this is putting into the pockets of a 13-year-old 100 million people and 100 million choices every time we say internet. And I don't want parents to forget that. Keep TikTok out of their life. Snapchat out of their life, yes. Please don't support pornography. But every digital space is going to be connected to way too many people, way too many places, and way too many mature things. The list of mature things that kids don't need to see when they're in elementary, middle, and high school is a whole lot longer than just pornography. Think of all the mature ideas, mature interactions. It could be language, content, ideas, themes. I mean, the movie industry has got this right when you think of kind of the rating system and how they've sort of separated. Now, it's not perfect, but at least it's acknowledged that there's more than just nudity that causes something to be inappropriate for children. And I think we sometimes forget that when it comes to some of these other digital spaces. So that would be what I think parents have kind of taken their eye off of, is we pay a lot of attention to the news and things in the news, but then there's this thing over here called YouTube or YouTube Kids or whatever it might be that's, I think, doing more.
Yeah. So you're basically, Chris, I'm trying to understand this. It's basically all the apps, it's like everything parents should keep an eye on. And I guess parents have to really understand what they are and how kids are using them. It's not just always, we do hear, as you pointed out, we're hearing about Discord and Roblox, and we're always hearing those few certain things, but it's basically everything. Am I correct? That's what we have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, the App Store is a great example, Lynn. So the App Store isn't going to Walmart or, the App Store is connected to millions of apps, right? Whether it's Google Play for Android or the App Store for Apple. So every family should have it set up on their Apple devices. Think of iPhones and iPads, that they should have to approve every single app. A child, a minor, I'm talking like up to 16, 17, they should not have full access to the App Store. Right now, I could download Grok as a 16-year-old, which is, X's AI, which is essentially a deep fake app that can create all kinds of horrible images. It should not be listed 16 plus. It should not even be listed in the App Store, period, but that's a separate conversation. So we should control the App Store. Just one example, it's called a store, so it sounds pretty innocent. It's an app, so it feels like a very limited single thing. We haven't given them the internet. Well, you have. Yeah. And we have to remember the App Store's purpose isn't protection, isn't safety, isn't thinking about children. The Apple App Store and Google Play, I'll just talk about Apple because 87% of kids have an Apple phone. Its purpose is to get you to download the app. It's a marketing engine because there's profit attached to that in-app purchase of 15 or 30% that goes back to Apple every time. They have no incentive to stop you or to create any friction between you and downloading whatever app you're looking at. So the App Store is a perfect place that parents totally are underestimating, not keeping their eye on, should control, just like any browser, just like any Google kind of search. It's a mini search engine that allows you to then download other search engines to get to content. So just another example of something that those are the doorways that we've taken our eye off of, because the apps themselves get all of the news and get all of the publicity, but there's a step 2 or 3 back that prevents them from getting to that in the first place that we've forgotten about.
Yeah, I've got to make sure I talk about that more when I'm out with people, and we also know anything with ratings, right, Chris? A lot of the ratings are wrong on the App Store. They're not
Horrible.
right. There was a study that came out recently. I think it was 40 something percent. I might be wrong. The ratings are wrong, and parents do trust because they tell me like they think it's child friendly or it says 8+ or something, they actually think that's correct. But we're saying they got to do the work themselves and not count on correct on
That's right.
anything digital. We got to do the work ourselves. That's what it basically comes down to. We have to touch, Chris, upon AI, artificial intelligence. I really
Always.
feel like I just feel like every day something's popping up with this. I feel like it started with ChatGPT, whenever that was, about 2 years ago, and it's just been speeding up. And that was a
Yeah.
cute little thing we started. It was all over the media, but now we're entering this age. Kids have chatbots available to them. These chat companions. It's horrible. I'll just say that. And parents need, I think, more than anything, Chris, they do not understand about chatbots and AI. What do you have to say about this as the expert? I'll just leave it at that because I'm having a hard time having them understand. They think it's cute machines, or they think, what's the harm if my child's playing with this machine that the child thinks could be a friend or something like that? Fill us in about this.
Well, I mean, one of our basic needs is to feel seen and heard, right? As a former youth pastor, we all do, whether you're 4, 14, or 40, as humans, we want to be seen and heard. Now, when I had, let's say, a Cabbage Patch doll or Teddy Ruxpin, I've really dated myself as a Gen Xer there for just a minute. Those were fun and it felt like a friend, but it didn't make me feel seen and heard. It didn't sound like a real person. It was clunky. It was a toy, and it had a category. It was it felt like a toy, acted like a toy. And I still then wanted mom or dad or a friend to feel seen and heard. We don't have that anymore with AI companions. And the same exact principles I'm talking about. I invite any parent, caregiver listening to this, like, go to your Apple App Store, go to Google Play and type in AI companion and just scroll at the number of apps that are available that look and feel like people, that look and feel like something that you give a name and a personality and hair, and you can even upgrade. And now it's sending you selfies and text messages and calls during the day, making you feel seen and heard with something that agrees with you all day. Sycophantic, if you're not familiar with that term, it just is this sort of agree engine of supporting you. You're great. Yes, that is your greatest strength. Let's use that. Let's go with that. I mean, imagine a teenager who only just wants to be connected and made to feel good about themselves, being told how awesome they are. That's a dream. That's what we all wanted when we were that age. And now we have that in digital format. And not only that, but another word that often comes up with AI and companions is anthropomorphic, meaning it looks and feels like me. This, scary, but this conversation we're having right now, I could find technology that would make you feel like you were talking to me and it wasn't really me. This has happened on Zoom calls and business meetings where companies have been totally, frauded out of money because they thought they were in a big, a regular transaction with somebody, and a company over in Hong Kong got 25 million taken from it. Right. So the level of which we now can sort of disrupt the attachment systems that we've always relied upon in terms of human-to-human connection. That's what's going on here. It's this hijacking of human attachment during critical phases of development, which is why there's no argument here. 0 AI companions, 0 to 18, 0. There's no use for them. There's no productive use for them, whether they're showing up in toys, young kid toys, or through the, apps and websites that you can go to, Replica and Character AI and others. There's 0 productive use in the development of a child for any of these applications.
Unbelievable. I just was reading the other day, Chris, that Mattel for the next holiday season will be unleashing a slew of these toys. Right. And that's very disturbing because we had a little bit this past season of things. We heard about the teddy bear directing kids, something about where are knives or how to set a fire or harm your sibling.
Yeah, all kinds of kink and stuff. Yep, exactly.
And so, exactly. So I'm already warning parents, be careful. This little teddy bear you bought for $99 isn't cute with what they're telling. let's transition to right now. There's a lot going on. It's a very complex issue. We can both agree to that, Chris, but the book is a practical common sense. I'm going to keep saying that because it's easy to read, easy to understand, and is the game plan people need in their homes, whether it's grandparents or even family members, because the kids, might sleep over grandma's house. So grandma, everybody
Oh,
has to kind of
absolutely.
understand like what's happening here. Um, Let me ask you, what gives you hope right now?
Well, that I'm seeing tide turn just this week. We saw multiple countries decide
Yes.
that they were going to prevent companies, and let's reframe this. This isn't a social media ban. This is preventing companies from having access to childhood. And that was in the UK, in Malaysia, adding to the Australia momentum that was started back in December. And this is what we need to do. I think there are some parents, because this is the tension that you and I feel all the time on the political side of, oh, to get out of the way, let parents, this isn't the government thing, let the parents do it. Okay. But if there was a toxin that existed in society that was harming a certain percentage of children in the real world, if that was any food or Tylenol or a crib or anything that children were using, one or two children would cause that thing to be recalled and off the shelves and gone. We have a digital toxin that has evidence now of showing harm to more than an insignificant number of children. So we need some boundaries around this that still respect my need to parent, but creates boundaries around kids who don't have a parent who cares. That's really the point here. So I'm so hopeful that we're seeing that tide turn, that whole countries are getting behind this. Especially at the state level here in the US. I don't know that I have the same hope. We've got some things to figure out federally in Congress, but at the state level, action moving related to AI, related to chatbots, related to deepfakes, which could be a whole nother conversation. And that's hopeful to me. I saw Minnesota just outlaw deepfake technology. Good. Let's do that 49 other times. Let's go.
Yeah. And Chris, I'm saying this, not you. These states have done a much better job in child protection and different pieces of legislation. I was just talking about we have 44 state attorneys general who put out a letter about the harms of AI. And if it's going to come for kids, they're going to go after them. It's 44 states. That right there, if you have 44 state attorneys general saying they're going to go after AI, that to me is a very positive piece of ammunition. Like, this is horrible for children and for families, and it's very important. So I think that gives me a lot of hope that they're lined up and
Absolutely.
ready to go. Of course, I want to call out the other 6 states, but we'll leave that for a second. Finish us up with, what do you want to tell America? Can be anything you want, Chris.
Oh, goodness.
It's a loaded question, but come on, it's Father's Day, and I
Yeah.
know you do so much, and you travel around the country, and just you have such an incredible career, and you always make me feel better and more positive about the work I do. So, what do you want to tell everybody?
Well, I want to tell, I'm going to guess there's a lot of parents and grandparents, right, that
Mhm.
mostly listen, not
Yes.
exclusively, but I believe that each and every one of you listening to this is uniquely capable to lead your children and to prepare and protect them online. You can.
Yeah.
You just have to align yourself with the right people, align yourself with the right organizations, align yourself with the right help, listen to the right voices, ignore everybody else, and stay the course. You are anointed to do this. And so I want to encourage you. I've seen thousands and thousands of parents do this, and it's hard but necessary. And so if we as an organization can be any help, great. We're not the only ones. There are many, but you can, and we're here to help.
And I want to add, Chris, I want everybody to buy your book. Five Habits
Thank
of the
you.
Tech Ready. I'm not shy about this. 5 Habits of the Tech Ready Family, raising wise kids in a wild digital world. Wild. I'm almost tripping over that word because it's so wild, Chris. Practical ideas that prepare and protect kids in the AI age. It's a great gift for dad. Share it with a friend. Buy one book for the neighborhood. Pass it around, right, Chris? There's so many things you can do. We got to get the book in schools just so everybody can read it. Our children do not work for technology. The technology must work for us. I want to say protectyoungeyes.com, one-stop shopping, everybody. Chris is very happy to share any kind of information. help you if you have a problem by writing to him. All the information is on the website, protectyoungeyes.com. And Chris, as always, I want to thank you for always being so kind, sharing your time, your expertise, and really being this sound voice in this kind of crazy AI digital world. So I want to thank you and promise me, as always, you're going to come back again because there's always so much to talk about.
Promise right now. You got it. I'll be back.
And I'll leave you with Happy Father's Day. We applaud you,
Lynn.
Chris, and all the dads out there. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.